Yeah, so I mean, this goes to show how long I've been on YouTube. Like way back, my username used to be Nintendo Freak 888 because you know you gotta have a separate username from everybody else. But
Sure.
so it started out as Nintendo Freak. At some point, I think I wanted to branch off from that because I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do specifically only Nintendo content, even though that's still kind of what I focused on. So I changed it to just NFreak, and I liked that for a while. But after a while, I was like, I kind of want to have things be more streamlined. Everything, like all my social media, all my YouTube, Twitch, whatever. I just wanted it all be the same and easy to remember. And I felt like my name was so unique.
Sure.
Like pretty much nobody else uses the name Naveed, except for like I think a Minecraft YouTuber right now, and he's pretty big.
It's
but
tough competition.
It is
Those
big.
Minecraft YouTubers, man.
I know, crazy. But yeah, other than that, like it's pretty unique, easy to remember, and that's why I thought I should probably just stick with that. It's less childish. Maybe it seems more professional. Having freak in the name is just a little bit weird.
Sure.
You know.
Well, I asked Lorenzo de Sakura a similar question because and he was essentially saying that as a musician specifically, it almost gave a look of amateur if you use some name other than your own, right? Or but he also was mentioning that there's something that was more creatively inspiring to have his own name attached so much to his work as opposed to like Zerachi. And I was curious if you've kind of felt anything like that, or does it not make much difference to you?
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Also, it's something that I forgot about, but now that I think about it, I actually joined another YouTube group at one point called Arcadea with a bunch of friends. And at that time, I remember talking with them about rebranding. Instead of being NFreak, I used Nav, which is just NAV. I like the first three letters of my name. And I still do that. I still use that kind of branding for like my intros and stuff like that. And when I title my videos. So that actually also pushed me a little bit more after we kind of like separated back into our own thing to rebrand my own channel back into just my name. So I can use Nav for that as well. But yeah, I mean, creatively, like using my name, I do think like having my name attached to something was something I was also like thinking about as well.
Right.
And some people, like a lot of people, weirdly enough, would always come and ask me like, what does the N stand for in NFreak?
Right.
And they would thought it was like, is it your name? Is it Naveed Freak? And I'm like, that'd be weird, right? Like, why would I be a freak of myself?
That's true.
For myself. I don't know.
Maybe you're just a really big fan of yourself, you know?
I am. I mean, I think it should be, but
right.
I was not a Naveed freak. So, I mean, it was a little bit confusing as well.
At the very least, it transitioned kind of nicely, though, because keeping that N in there almost keeps some sense of your identity from before, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I do think it's interesting you brought up Arcadea, because I also had a question that kind of pertained to that. But was your experience with Arcadea, like what were some of the pluses about working with another group of people on like a specific channel? And then what were some of the struggles you may have run into that you don't run into when you're working on your own channel? Just overall, what's your general experience with that?
I mean, the great thing about that was that we were all just friends, working together.
Right.
And we were basically doing our own thing. Obviously, we'd get together and we'd have like calls and stuff talking about what we're going to do moving forward. But the thing is, I wasn't really part of that group for very long. I mean, it was actually only a few months. I got to do some great things in terms of like going to some cons as a guest, having some panels, which was really, really cool. It was a great experience. But overall, it was creatively, you had all the freedom, you could do whatever you want. And like I said, we were just hanging out with friends and kind of like shooting I don't know if I can curse on this. I never asked about that, but yeah. But we were just shooting all the time. And yeah, I mean, it was a good experience for sure.
Was there any difficulties with having to work with other people, or did you find because you had that freedom, it essentially just allowed you to do exactly what you wanted, basically?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it was. Like you could make whatever videos you wanted. We would discuss it together though. Like, I mean, we'd be like, hey, do you think this is a good idea? So we'd be able to get bounce ideas around from each other, which was cool. And that was the nice part of being in a group. Another nice part was that you didn't have to. I'm bad at this anyway, but you didn't have to focus on making content consistently, like,
right,
because you had other people to help out as well, because that helped out with the scheduling, but that was also part of the issue because so many people got busy, and it felt like at some points it was on specific people to make videos at certain times. But,
right.
It was nice not to have to worry about making something like every week or something like that.
Sure. And did you guys have any like group collaborations with regards to videos, or was panels kind of the furthest you got to creating something together?
For me, it was only panels. I've done like collaborations like before, and we had a podcast at some point as well, an Arcadea podcast that I don't remember how many episodes there were, but it wasn't too many. So that was kind of the place, the podcast, where we would get together and kind of talk amongst one another a lot. And but I don't recall there being too many actual collabs within each other's videos.
Hey there. You just watched a clip from my creative podcast. If you'd like to check out the full episode as well as other episodes as soon as they come out, you can support me over on Patreon for the $3 tier, or you can just subscribe here and wait for clips and podcast episodes to come out eventually.